Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the QLads channel. We are back for another game of the United Rugby Championship. We're getting down to the end of the regular competition side of things before the playoff games. This one is a big one. The Stormers taking on Munster, two sides relatively high on the table. Stormers a little bit further up there, but should be a fantastic game. It's taking place in South Africa as well. They will be hoping get themselves over the line. Looking through at the Stormers starting lineup, it will be Stephen Kitsoff, Joseph Dweber, and Franz Malharba as the front row. So an all Springbok propping and hooker duo there, or trio, I guess you could say. Ruben van Heeren and also Marvin Ori going to be the locks for this contest. Willie Engelbrecht, Ben Jason Dixon, and then Diamani there at number 8. Paul de Vet at number 9 with Mani Lebok. Starting at 10, Sanatle out on one wing, Dan Duplessis and Ruan now the midfield, Hudsonberg out on the right wing, and then Damien Valimza we're slotting in as the fullback. Looking through, though, at this Munster side, they're on the road, but they did go with a strong lineup, which is great to see. They have still brought their absolute A-game for this game. Jeremy Luckman, Barron, and Stephen Archer, the front row. Gene Klein and R.G. Snyman going to be there at number 5. So he's been playing in South Africa quite a bit recently. The fellow Springbok, he'll be looking forward to this World Cup, and he will be hoping that he gets there injury-free, I should say. Peter O'Mani, Kendallin, and also Gavin Coombs at number 8. Conor Murray and Jack Crowley. I said that very weird, but he will be there at number 10. Shane Daly, Malachi Fekatoa, and also Frisch in the midfield, Kelvin Nash and Mike Haley, the last two in there for Munster. Now, my lighting's being a little bit weird, which is making me glitch a bit. That should be a little bit better. I'm quite bright at the moment, only in sense of the lighting rather than any other sense of the word. Cape Town Stadium for this contest. Going to be a great atmosphere. I look forward to this contest. It is currently 4:12 a.m. here in New Zealand. I did sneak a couple hours sleep in before this matchup, but did get to catch the end of Leinster versus the Lions. And all I can say is Leinster, once again, fantastic performance, coming back at the last moment to get themselves that victory. Munster in this contest, they're going to have to start well, and they will certainly have to finish well also. They do want a real chance of going far in this matchup, but it is round 17 of the URC. Like I mentioned, we are getting close to the stage of playoff games. Hi all from the USA, says Robert. Welcome in, mate. It is absolutely awesome to see you once again for this contest. And yeah, do let me know your prediction. Who do you think will be walking away with the victory? Could it be the Stormers at home with their Springbok loaded side, or could it be Munster? Got a few Irish internationals scattered throughout there as well on the road. History in this competition, even though it is such a short one with the new inclusions of the South African sides, does say side on the road normally does not win. That is the kind of rule of thumb, I guess you could say, but then it depends on the sides. Munster have not come with a light team here, and they'll be looking to really make an impact. In a statement, do you see the Black Cats come back after losing the first one versus Pakistan? We'll cover it. There's coding, so I didn't actually get to watch that first T20, and I haven't been able to watch the second. The second one is actually happening now, so I guess for will I cover that second one that has started and happening at the moment, I guess the answer easy is no, just because it has already started for that one. But yeah, it's just a shame that it does overlap with so many other things that we've got happening over the weekend, whether that is the URC or a starting time nice and early on a Saturday morning. Stormers today, says Robert. There looks like quite a few Munster supporters have either made the trip or have found themselves there at Cape Town Stadium. Maybe a few locals coming to see RG. Yeah, he ends up going in this contest. He was great in his last game. It's just that injury. I know that it's coming soon, and I hope it's after the World Cup for his sake, because he seems to have that very unlucky streak of ending up injured before a World Cup. But the thing is, Ebenetzebev, there are question marks around whether or not he will be World Cup ready with his injuries. Why they need RG Snyman at 110%, but they're showing Peter O'Mani, then the Munster captain. He would love nothing more than to get the victory on the road here for the Munster men. As the table currently sits, we'll quickly bring it up. I believe Munster are still in the top 8. I think they're sitting about 5th at the moment. They are 5th, 16 games played. They're on 48 points. They cannot catch the Glasgow Warriors in their last 2 contests unless they get full 5-point and 5-point for their last 2 matches. And Glasgow would need to lose their next game. And then depending on the points differential, Munster should still just sneak by. But for the Sharks and the Bulls, sitting 6th and 7th, they are relatively secure. Lions really needed that win, though. And also re-signed an hour back. He is going to Leinster, says Roloff. I did see that news that he is going to be heading to Leinster for the next season. So that will be interesting. See how he goes on foreign soil. Yeah, for the box-wise, I believe he is still signed in just a little bit longer in the Stormers. Team huddle taking place just before the game. We are almost at kickoff, ladies and gentlemen. Well done to the Leinster Schoolboys, says Michael. That's the thing. I looked through their side. We were initially going to be covering that game, but I was worried it was going to overlap with when we were getting back from, well, it was going to be a barbecue that we were heading to. We didn't end up going in the end, just because by the time we got back from the other location we were at, which we did film, I'll give you more information about that at halftime, why that filming did not go well. But yeah, due to that timing, we didn't go to the barbecue. So yeah, we didn't need to not do that game, but we slept during that game for the first part anyway. That was a long way of saying we didn't get to cover Leinster Lions, but it was a great game. Seeing the score and also watching the last 10 minutes. But this one is going to be kicked off Munster to give the possession to to the Stormers early. They may be royal blue, but they ain't the Irish side here. But that is going to be an early penalty in favour of Munster. I believe for not releasing against Paul de Vet. So that is a good start to the matchup. That should certainly give Munster early confidence, but this is what they need to do. They need to keep this pressure going throughout the first maybe 20 minutes or so, and they're kicking for the corner. So that has shown the intent that they are willing to go to, and it also says they need that bonus point. Why do I look so bright? At the moment, I'm going to switch my lighting a little bit. I think it's because I haven't got the ceiling lights on out in front of me. That's a little bit better. It's slightly better than it was. He cannot speak English. How in the world is he going to get Irish? Says Roloff there. It'll certainly be a learning experience for him. That is for sure. Nice rolling ball here for Munster, though. Breaking off the back. Here comes Baron. He's over the line. I believe he's going to be, oh, they're saying held up, but he was very close to the line. Okay. They might. See, that's the thing. From that angle, Baron's got the ball down, so maybe worth another look for the referee. Yep. He is going to be going upstairs. How many matches happen in these rugby leagues before final is played? They normally play around 18 each. That's normally their goal. They had a couple games that they had to make up, but they were able to do that not too badly. So yeah, 18 games. Then you go into your playoffs of the quarterfinals, which are just around the corner. Okay, so we got the Welsh referee. So he said it was held up, but then I saw the ground. I can't do a Welsh accent. He said he saw grounding, so they're going to go upstairs just to make sure that it's all right. I cannot see it from that angle, so the TMO is probably having a really bad time. It's whether or not it's down on Dan du Plessis' leg. To be honest, like at that angle, that is held up. The question is, how long is it held up for? And hi, everyone. Says Rudy, welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing very well. I appreciate everyone tuning in for this late night live stream. Actually, the only URC game. That feels better. That headphone was a bit too tight. But yeah, the first and only URC game that we are covering of the weekend. We'll be back to a few more, of course, in the near future. It was just scheduler-wise. They had a lot more games taking place on the Saturday. Okay, Irish commentator has said he sees the grounding afterwards, but initially held up. So that's his call, whether or not the referee agrees and the TMO agrees. I think they will, yeah. It's going to be initially held up. No try for Munster, but they will receive the 22 dropout. Never mind, I apologize. I told you guys the wrong information. It was initially held up, but then eventually the ball got to the ground. So they said try stands. There you go. Munster getting themselves the first try of the contest. I thought they were going to be receiving the 22 dropout or the goal line dropout. Instead, it will be none other Jack Crowley having a crack at the post. Great rolling maul, great choice by Munster to go for the riskier option, I guess you could say. The Baron, that was held up, that was held up. That was how long till he got it down? It was a while, but I guess it initially was held up, but then managed to get it down and back. Yes, Stephen, so upset about the lines on Forever Sports, says Eric. I mean, they did, from what I saw, they did throw away those last few minutes of the game, unfortunately. Like, they had a real good lead. And then, what was it, 5 minutes remaining or something? It just seemed to be, they lost that momentum. And it certainly hurt them. But that is going to be going over 7-0 now for Munster on the road in Cape Town Stadium. Certainly not how the home supporters would have seen the start of this match going. But the good news is the Stormers have only touched the ball once. If they touch it a few more times, there should be more room for success. Afternoon from Dublin, says James Cody. Welcome in. You are having a fantastic afternoon and have been enjoying, I guess you could say, a lighter weekend of rugby than the past. Because Super Rugby, only 4 games, no 7s taking place either over the weekend. So just the URC. Did you hear the news about Jacques? I did. He's going to be heading to Leinster for the next season. Should be interesting. Now that one is going to be rolling back for Conor Murray inside of his own 22. Okay, so the Stormers need 9 points in their last 2 games to be certain that they'll have second on the log, is what they have just said. Because currently on the table, the Stormers, they are sitting third. Glasgow ahead of them. That could be because they have played that extra game. If the Stormers win this one, they will move back up to second, and then it will be going into that last game for all the technicalities. But Ben Jason Dixon, nice carry forward now going off to the right-hand side. Mani Lebok puts it in behind to Hudson-Berg. Trying to spin out of the tackle, but he is dragged down by Shane Daly. Now moving up to the halfway line, the Stormers. Olivet, the Mani Lebok, looking for Willemse. He does find it wide. Cut out pass. Out to Sanatla. Oh, plenty of pace. Well, I've got so many accents today, and I don't know why. Stephen sucks. I cannot watch him anymore, says Roloff. Why do you say that, Roloff? From what I've seen, we haven't actually ever done a collaboration with Forever Sports. Maybe that is something that in the future will have to happen at some point. But yeah, from what I've seen, he just works hard, does a lot of videos, a lot of live streams. He's got quite a good team together by the looks of it. They've got about maybe 5 commentating options. I'm not too sure who's doing this game, but I'm sure that someone will be covering it. Big hat on. Ben Jason Dixon knocks the ball backwards. It's going to be a double knock on and go the Brumbies go. Says Michael. What did you think of the last game, Michael? I know that there was a bit of controversy scattered around that contest in terms of not so much the players. It was more of the, like, what would you say? More of the refereeing, I guess you could say, was the talking point of that one. He's a Lions supporter, so go and watch a Lions game with them, says Roloff. I'm sure he's very passionate about it when the Lions are playing. So, yeah, like you said, he wouldn't have been happy, or like Eric said, he wouldn't have been happy about that last contest. And they did end up losing. Will you do an ODI World Cup watch along? I want to. World Cups have been one of our riskier competitions to cover in the past. We've received copyright strikes in the past from cricket. But depending on how it goes, we might get tempted. Seeing as, it all depends on start times, of course, as well. Like that ODI World Cup start time-wise is not flash. Crumb reset here, ladies and gentlemen. So we just got a bit more of a stoppage. I'm just going to quickly click on the schedule for that one. It's interesting that they don't actually have a cricket World Cup website, to be honest. I thought that they'd have that. There we go. ICC cricket schedule, I guess, is what we are going off. 100% off bonus at some random IPL thing. Cool. Some seatbelt ad as well. Okay, I will use my app. That's going to be a lot easier. But the scrum feed, now Munster have this ball at the back. Conor Murray told to use it. Goes off to Crowley. Nice step there. Moves up to 25 metres out. Gavin Coombs. Oh, Malachi Fekitoa runs at his teammate. Silly goose. That is going to be accidental obstruction. And also, we have got their Stormers going to win, says Jody in there as well. Bit of an apology from Peter O'Mahony in the way of Malachi Fekitoa. I think they were both to blame, though. He decided to go straight at that same gap that they did have not really existing due to Malachi being there, although that was a bit high from Willie Engelbrecht. They're going to check that one, perhaps. And 2029 or 2019 ODI was pure vibes, to be honest. I'm not even English, says James. I'll be honest, I preferred the England World Cup for 2019, then I think I'll prefer this one. Nothing against where it's being held. I just feel like now the fact that we've got a schedule and live streams and 2 working jobs to do alongside it, it's not going to feel as, like, I guess, rewarding staying up till all hours of the night watching those games. As good as they're going to be, it's just going to be hard, I think is the best way. Love the ref, we won, says Michael. Yeah, although I know a lot of people weren't too happy with the referee overall for some of the decisions being made, but I guess that is rugby at the end of the day. Like, there was one of the games that overall I thought was a lot more rough than some of the past, but it is going to be a scrum feed for the Stormers. They have decided that tackle was low enough. Stormers, says Evan there. And who do you think is going to take out the World Cup? I mean, India have to be betting favourites. At the end of the day, like, in their home conditions, knowing how the pitches are going to be playing relatively well, like, if they don't make it through to the semi-finals, there is going to be a lot of angry people. And I hope that it doesn't get too serious in terms of the angriness. Pakistan currently 62 for none, I do see, off their 8 overs, for anyone wondering. Well, we are doing a bit of Googling, or 6 overs, I should say. When you see the get copyright in live stream from Sri Lankan YouTubers, how you offer, or how you after recorded the video, because upload is disabled after copyright, says Coding. So we actually did it on the Kiwi Lads Sport channel, our other channel, our backup one. We uploaded that video, or the live stream, just saying we've got a copyright strike, and then I had to wait 2 weeks before I was able to upload anything else, while waiting for YouTube to say, oh yeah, no, it was a false copyright strike. They shouldn't have been able to do that. And I mean, the process has gotten slightly quicker. It's now 10 days. That's a nice ball on the inside from Sanatla. Now Dan Duplessis didn't get the pass away that he would have been after, but the Stormers now still in possession, 40 metres out. Going for the cross kick. Hudsonberg looking for the bounce, doesn't receive it. That is a cheeky way of trying to get the penalty, and it hasn't worked out for Shane Daly. His tactic was to jump and get tackled in the air, and it has actually worked. Very strategic, and that is almost, he was playing chess when the South African player was playing checkers there. Jumped right into him, knew that if he did get tackled in the air, he was going to win that penalty. Yeah, strategic. Also, Bok will win the World Cup. Oh, we talking cricket or rugby? Because we were just talking the Cricket World Cup. But I guess if you were talking Rugby World Cup and you heard me say India have a real good shot of the World Cup, you'd be probably quite confused at what I was saying. Yeah, the ODI World Cup, like, we're still a little way away. It's going to be taking place in about, when does it take place? The ODI World Cup that hasn't found touch. The Damian Willems are now going to be booting it back high, trying to win that ball. That might have been an accidental knock-on between the 2 Munster players. I believe it was Kendall and had his hands on the ball first, let it go, and then his teammate was able to grab it. ANZ bowling without Southey Bolt is so weak, says Cody. Now, nice offload. Luckman goes to Sneyman, back to Luckman again on the halfway line. Munster, for this first 10 minutes, certainly been holding their own up against this Stormers side. I was talking about the Rugby World Cup, says Jody. I mean, for me, it's definitely a side on New Zealand, South Africa, France, and Ireland's side of the draw. I just have that feeling. But then the question is, will those sides kind of, I guess, bash each other that much that it's going to be very tricky to get their momentum after having so many tough encounters? Like, yeah, it's going to be exciting. The fact that they have, like, the middle of the week off to reflect and work out how exactly they're going to approach their next game, though, is going to be very entertaining to see the tactics that come out. And Stormers, there's Evan there. Willie Engelbrecht now running it up, 40 metres out from their own line. Paul de Vet rolling the ball back. Goes off to Mani Libok. Looked like they were going to go for the kick. Instead, though, Dan du Plessis could have a bit of a run tackle by Baron. A bit of a counter ruck there from Munster. Libok somehow keeps it on their side. Franz Malharba goes down. RG Snyman looks for the turnover in the breakdown. It came off a boot, says the referee. So it will be play on, and the penalty goes the way of the Stormers. Second man coming in, trying to get the turnover. That was Barron who's been penalised there. Looking very puffed at the moment, this Munster side. They've been playing at a high intensity throughout the first little while. They are showing Stephen Archer. He was the man who was initially in the breakdown. And then Baron went again, got himself penalised. But Labok will now be kicking for the touchline. Are you a South African supporter? Says Jody. I am from New Zealand, but we do cover a lot of South African rugby. So over the past, I'd say 2 years, I mean, I've come to know a lot of these South African players in terms of their squads of the lower side, such as Stormers, compared to, of course, international, see it to lift the cup, says Eben. But yeah, like at the moment, there's a fella at one of my jobs, the one that I started recently, and he is South African. And me and him were looking at each other recently while we were on break, and we were talking about rugby. We were saying our two sides, at the moment, we're in a little bit of a troubling scenario. But by the time we get to the World Cup, I think New Zealand and South Africa should hopefully be playing some very good rugby. And Stormers using the cross kick a tad too much. I changed to a grubber through the middle on occasion too, says Ethan. It's a good tactic to be able to go for that grubber instead of just cross kick. And I agree. If you can get it right, that's going to be Damian Valimza trying to offload the ball on the inside as he was very close to the touchline. Looked like they were going to be going back for the scrum. They certainly do now. Munster will have the feed. This early pressure is working, but we're only an eighth of the way through. We respect New Zealand as our rivals, says Jody. And I enjoy watching New Zealand versus South Africa. We're going to see it as one of the warm-up games for the Rugby World Cup because there is that mutual respect there for a majority of supporters of both sides. Both sides want to see the other team do well outside of playing each other, but when they're playing each other, there's always that intensity, then that respect as soon as the game is finished. And as I'm from South Africa, says Jody Joseph. And there as well. So scrum feed now going to Munster. Damian Valimza. Taking a few risks early on in this contest, but none are yet to pay off. Scrum feed going in will be Connor Murray. Looks like the scrum should go down if they're not careful. Yep, it's gone down, but they still get the ball out the back. Malachi Fekatoa, a bit of crash ball. Moves up to the halfway line, tackled by Libok. Now RG Snyman has an offload as well. That is something that makes that man so dangerous for the Springboks if he is fit for the World Cup. Now ball out wide, goes to Kelvin Nash, only a metre from the touchline now, but Luckman going back across. Frowley finds the inside ball. It's nice work at the moment from Munster, keeping the ball alive. And you see New Zealand as the I see historic benchmark New Zealand as the number one, the most gracious in victory and defeat. There's Ethan there. And I'll be honest, there are supporters for New Zealand that do not have that graciousness and do like to talk a lot of trash. But I think you get that with most nations now. Definitely with the development of social media, it's almost too easy for people with opinions to get their opinions out in the world. You know, like no matter what that opinion is. Like you could have a hatred for donkeys. How can you not like donkeys, though? A great performance in Shrek. But, like, yeah, you can have a hatred for donkeys. And because you've got social media, you could say how much you hate donkeys on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok. You could put everything out there. And, like, as long as you're not breaking any laws, like, no one can stop you from saying that you don't like donkeys. But, like, it's the same with, I guess, certain supporters as well. You don't have that limitation of what you're allowed and what you're not allowed to say. And if you've got a username like Donkey Hater 456, like no one's going to know your real identity alongside that. Hello, David, as well. I should mention this is a weird time for you to come in. We're just talking about social media. Well, I was. Everyone was probably just listening, going, what's he on about donkeys and whatnot? But yeah, I hope you are keeping well, David. It is very early in New Zealand. Are you up for the day or are you just popping in from a sleep spell, I guess you could call it. A guy from Munster, now down just outside of the 22, Libok, back with the ball, having a crack himself, runs at the line, and I believe Baron just able to roll out of there. And also, where is Japan logged? Is it with New Zealand? Says Eben. Japan logged. You're hoping for an upset, are you? In the World Cup, if the Springboks don't make it to the finals and ABs do, I 100% support the ABs. There's the Borkster, and what a win from Leinster. Yeah, extremely well done from the Leinster men to be able to fight back from being down up against the Lions. This young Leinster side as well. It just shows how good their system is at the moment because, like at the end of the day, these young players, 5 years' time, they're going to be some of them Irish internationals, some of them scattered throughout the world playing rugby. Just doing very well at the moment in their academy side of things. The Irish, but now Stormers on the halfway line with the possession. Stephen Kitsoff, the spicy plum, as the nickname says, now tackled low by Fekitoa was Diamani. Pulled it off to the right. Mani Lebok, flat ball to Willie Engelbrecht. Another knock on from the Stormers. This time Peter O'Mahony decides to go for the kick. So that will be advantage over waiting for this one to bounce. Nicely taken by Ruan now, who now will be running across. It looks like it might have been a bit of a risky kick from O'Mahony. Position now back with the DHL Stormers. Who would you say is the best all-time or number 10 kicker? I know that Dan Carter for New Zealand is right up there. South Africa is a little bit of a tricky one. I mean, I know that Steyn, for me, as someone who's seen a lot more of Steyn, I guess he's up there for myself. But then saying that, there are a lot of other kickers historically. Wow, that's a big shot on Stephen Kitsoff. It was actually Mike Haley. Almost knocked the ball free. Now, nice big fan from Diamani. Found the offload to Sanatla. Gets back up to his feet. Baron drags him down. That's going to be almost a knock on the ground from the Stormers, but it will be play on once again. Off to the right-hand side. Mani Lebok goes to Franz Malharba. Ankle's taken out. Oh, the poach. No, it was illegal, though. From Peter O'Mahony's side entry, Joseph de Weber not too happy with Peter O'Mahony. He puts his hand in Peter O'Mahony's face, drives him into the ground. That's not going to make the Munster men too happy at all, I wouldn't think. Got to be careful here. Don't get the penalty reversed, Weber, or else your team will not like you. Also, we have got it's their academy so well drilled. Exactly right. Like they're finding these young players who just keep on getting better and better. Oh, Peter O'Mahony now in the face of Franz Malharba. A lot of tempers flaring at the moment. Why don't you just show us the game instead of the score? Pretty much the easiest way of saying it is copyright. I don't have the licensing, nor do I have the funds to be able to purchase multi-million-dollar licensing to be able to show games. That is normally Supersport, Spark Sport here in New Zealand. But yeah, that is why they don't class as fair use, even if you're doing your own commentary, which makes it tricky, of course. And this will really hurt the Lions, end of the season, basically, and in the most painful way. Yep. To miss out on the top 8 because you threw away a game hurts. Definitely in a game that you were supposed to win. So he went in there, Peter O'Mahony, to get the ball, came in through the side, so that was the penalty. Then from there, he was getting slapped on the arm. Then he tried to push him off there. And then Joseph Dweber, or in fact, it wasn't even Dweber. Someone else puts their hand in Peter O'Mahony's face and just holds him, tries to push him into the turf. I think Marvin O'Ree is going to end up with a reverse penalty here if they're not lucky. They actually want to have a conversation here about it. And greetings, Hamish. Can't stay long, but wanted to drop a like and give the stream, or wanted to drop by and give the stream a like. Welcome in, Mountains of Asylum. Well, not quite Asylum, but I always say it, don't I? My boys Munster will win well here. And currently they're doing pretty well. Right, the TMO review. Marvin O'Ree, I believe, grabs or kind of puts the face into the turf. So he tries to push him off. Then he pushes him. Then another player comes in and, covers the nose and mouth of Peter O'Mahony, puts his hand right over his eyes. That's Marvin O'Ree. That was really silly to do because he's probably got the penalty reversed now. Did you ever play rugby and what position? I did. Back in my day, I was out on the wing. But the slight problem was we had a fly half and a scrum half who would not pass the ball. Not at all. So one game, didn't touch the ball. 2 games passed, didn't touch the ball. And in the end, it ended up in the scenario of I'd go to trainings, I'd work hard, and all I would do is tackle because our fly half and scrum half wouldn't pass. Yep, terrible work. Okay, so Stephen Kitsoff is saying that Munster also aggravated it, but it's going to be a penalty reversed against Blue 5. Marvin Ori decided that he had to go in and just pretty much give the hand over the face. He's disappointed already, and he should be because it was his penalty one for the Stormers. And Asylum suits me perfect, Amish. There's Mountains of Asylum in there as well. Yeah, I always say it wrong, don't I? Elysium? Elysium? Is that how you'd actually say it? What is the last part of it? Do let me know because I've always wondered, but I always say Asylum. And Omani has an atrocious mouth on him, I've heard, and sounds like Ori has fallen right into the trap like a mouse, says Ethan. Yeah, it's worked in perfectly for them. Who do you think is going to win this game? Stormers are favourites. They're at home. They're third on the table. Munster are fifth, but I'd like to see something from the Stormers. And so far throughout the first 19 minutes of this game, we haven't seen that. We haven't seen the normal fight that we're used to. Is it the hectic schedule, having those Champions Cup games as well? Maybe starting to wear on this side. But taken nicely by Munster. Here comes the rolling ball. I was so fast, I ran 100 metres, 10 minutes, says Karma Peach. Yeah. Would you guys... Yeah, oh, big shot. How that? That was a big hit from run now. I think there was an arm wrap. We'll say there was anyway, just for now. It was a huge hit. Yeah, would you believe that me and George went for a short run/walk last night? So I guess tonight that we are in at the moment, it was 10:30 and we were sitting outside. We were just like, should we just go for a jog? See how it goes. And yeah, we went down to the local park. It was dark. Like, luckily the park's not really dodgy, or else that would have, oh, nice flick pass from RG Snyman. Now Murray goes across here into the midfield for Munster, looping around. No one there, but they will go back for the advantage. Penalty for hand on the face. Wow. There's Justin there. But yeah, I think it was it seemed slightly soft in some regards, but I think there's this thing about player eyes, how if you get anywhere near them, it is a penalty. It's like when you get an eye poke or anything like that. Oh, yeah, good shot on Peter Omani around the jaw from Sanatla. I think the Stormers might find them on the losing side at the end. Says Alfie, and Fori is a massive loss too. Not an excuse though, trying to explain the drop in performance, says Ethan. So is Fori out injured, Ethan? And if so, how long? I know that he missed that last game of the Champions Cup. And to be honest, the Stormers just didn't seem like the same side. Did you support for soccer in the Premier League? If I had to pick a team in the Premier League, I'll be honest, I really don't have one. Oh, hang on. We're not giving this a rare card, are we? He was ducking down. If you're going to give it anything, yellow at most. Is Big Dwayne on the bench? Says Eric, not for Munster. He's an Ulster boy. Hang on. We'll look through at the schedule quickly. Have Ulster played? He's slipping down. If you're giving a card, it's a yellow at most. Have Ulster already played? Ulster play Edinburgh on the 21st of April, so that's next week. So they must have already played. Ulster, they won up against the Dragons 40 points to 19, and Dwayne Vermeulen was in the starting lineup. Well, they won, so that'll be 10 minutes off the field for Sanutla. The crowd are not going to be happy whatsoever. You think he got injured in the Harlequins game. The massive game breaker, massive spoke, and the opposition wheels exactly right. And who cares if he played? You get to listen to the game. Kevin Laird, thanks so much. It's my dad's B-Day, 68. Can you wish him? What's his name, Eben? But hopefully he does have a very good birthday. Yeah, hopefully you got something nice planned. Fun fact, I am actually going to a birthday party. It sounds weird saying birthday party, doesn't it, when you're 23? But yeah, I'm going to a birthday party today. So the plan is pretty much to go to sleep after this live stream. I'll get about 5 hours of sleep and then wake up and we're going 10-pin bowling. It's Scoreboard is not updating, says Coding. It is a little bit. It's got that one down that bottom corner, but so far only 7-0 in this matchup. And Ulster won last night, says Mountains of Elysium. Elysium. Oh, try for Munster driving over. And there's going to be plenty of excitement on the face of the Munster supporters now. That old man had bigger biceps than most young men. He works hard. But it's going to be Baron, a second try of the match. Have a good time, man. No gutter balls, mate. Says Ethan. Well, it will have to be different. Fun fact, we went bowling today. Oh, yesterday. We were going to film it. That was actually what I mentioned a bit earlier on. I'll mention at halftime what happened in the filming department. It didn't go too well. Which person has that birthday party? George or Isaac? Neither. They both have their birthday in March. This is my younger cousin who will be turning, I believe, 11. So, no, not quite 11. He's not quite that old. I think he's going to be, oh, no, he might be. He's getting up there. I think he's at high school next year. So, yeah, he could be turning 11 or 10. One of the two. I have to work out before we sign the card. But, yeah. So, we're going bowling for that as Big Ola. Big Ola. So, hopefully I said that correctly. Yeah, happy birthday, Ola, if you are watching. Evan, your son, he seems all right. Hopefully he does wish you a very big birthday. A very happy birthday. And as always, discipline seems to be not so good. So the kickers missed. So 12-0 at the moment for Munster. And they would have come in as big underdogs for this game, Munster. It just seems like they are clicking and they are gelling. Two things that you definitely want to be finding at this stage of the contest. Thoughts on Sevens tournament? Says Jody, absolutely love the Sevens. We cover every single week of the Sevens on the channel. We do probably about 30 or 20 of the matches. And then also alongside that, we do end up doing some videos. It's just a shame we have to wait 30 days before Toulouse ends up coming around. And then we've got the last leg straight after that. Oh, here's a stat. They've just said the Stormers undefeated so far this year in Cape Town for the URC. And actually in all competitions they mentioned. And then let us watch the rugger. Says roll off there. Oh, so Munster, tough old side, says Michael. They are. They're a side that won't go down without a bit of a fight, which is great to see. All available for the Stormers, though, on halfway. So much for home advantage, says Michael. Well, normally it's effective. Like, they've been down in Cape Town before, though, and have managed to fire back. I believe the most they've been down by was about 19 in one game. Managed to come back and win it. Who do you think win the Sevens tournaments? I mean, Fiji are normally a good shout, but they haven't actually won one this year. So New Zealand at the moment and Argentina, two best bets. Those ones. Now Paul DeVette going off to the side. Diamani, good driving tackle. And I'm surprised that they were big underdogs, mind. I thought this would be a tough game after the Stormers result. Missing Fauria and Munster aren't mugs. Decent team, says Ethan. And I have to say, I'm very happy that they went with such a strong side. Like, they could have easily gone, like, we're close to the top 8 or we're in the top 8. Theoretically, they can't go out of the top 8 unless, no, in fact, they can't drop out of the top 8. So they could have brought a second string side here. They could have been like, nah, we're all right. But they've gone with their top side to try and get a big victory. And you know we're having a Bry second half. Stormers to kick ass. There's Evan. And I was saying Munster beat South Africa. Australia twice. The Maori ABs also beat the ABs with a scratch side, losing by a try in the last few minutes. Tough side. There's Asylum. I actually am going to go back to see it says it in Gladiator. As I said, Asylum is perfect for me. Okay, so it's reference to Gladiator. Now, it's a movie that I have not seen. A lot of movies I haven't seen, though. You guys have learnt that over the last little while. I am very slack with my movies. But that is, so Gladiator, there's that one. Then there's also Sparta. No, is that called 3,300? That's got Russell Crowe in it, I think. Who's in Gladiator? And howdy, y'all, says Grumlass. Welcome in. And we have load shedding in South Africa, says Jody. Yeah, it's always during the rugby, isn't it? Have you ever experienced load shedding? I haven't experienced load shedding. I've experienced a power cut. But load shedding, no. I remember a while ago when we had some real strong wind, like a lot of trees were going down on power lines, and there were a couple of days where we didn't have the power or anything, which was weird because you get so reliant on it. I noticed the other day, Like, our Wi-Fi went out because we had the electrician installing some lights in here. It seems like too many because of the brightness, but no, it's just my ring lights in front of me. But you notice when you got no Wi-Fi, you're like, what do I do? Now I've got so much time. And the problem was he also had the power off, so I couldn't edit. Like that's the thing. I normally edit outside of Wi-Fi using. Like today, I'm gonna have a big day of editing after the birthday. Gonna be kicked downfield. Although I think me and George, maybe Daniel, are also gonna be doing something, which is great. Get to see them. It's gonna be nicely taken by Mani Lebok. Now going across to Damien Valimza, stepping beautifully, wrestled down around the bootlaces. Gladiator 10 out of 10, best movie ever. There's Evan. Although I was too young when they beat the ABs to appreciate it back in 78. Says Mountains of Asylum. Russell Crowe is in Gladiator. Gerard Butler in 3000. Ah, I see. Got them around the wrong way. A book. There's Robert there. And is Russell Crowe New Zealand's #1 actor? In terms of like size-wise, maybe. Although, who else have we got Kiwi-wise? Lady actors. Someone with the name Rose something, I think, but she's probably not as big as Russell Crowe. Taka Waititi, pretty well known, but more for his directing rather than his acting. And also as the Roman Heaven, mountains are reference to Chronicles of Narnia, the mountains of heaven. I know you've put that. All I could think of as soon as I saw mountains and whatnot was that I have like 3 Assassin's Creed games sitting there. I know it's not a reference to Assassin's Creed, but I have a lot of Assassin's Creed games sitting there that I have not played, including one that has the gladiator times. Maybe I should play it. On stage load setting is bad, plus minus 8 hours during the day. Says Evan there. And having second thoughts about this game, do you still think Stormers will win? They need to try before halftime. That is a big thing that we certainly know that's going to be taken out in the air. So the advantage goes in favour of the Stormers here for their rolling ball, 40 metres out from the Munster line. Kicked him behind from Mani Lebok. Taken by Malachi Fekatoa. Oh, he's having a right bad time there. He's cleaned it up now. It might end up being they might take the 5-metre scrum. I don't know what Fekatoa is doing in this game other than not very much. Well, what's up, Hamish? There's Buffer. Welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing very well. Did I say that correctly or is it Bopar? I can't quite remember. There's a way of saying it that's not quite what it looks like. I know Tucker for being Korg, best character in Marvel. Sam Neill is also a Kiwi actor, acted in Jurassic Park, says coding, and is a New Zealander, though he was born in Ireland. Sam Neill, he was actually one of the Easter egg hunting thingies for a website that I go on. They had like you had to find 8 Easter eggs, and then you go on the draw to win a PS5. So I am in a draw to win a PS5. Even though we could use it for the Forest. That's one game that they don't have on Xbox. Sam Neill was so good in Hunt for the World of People, written and directed by Taka Waititi. There's scrum less. Right. Big scrum here. Malachi Fekatoa just gave them meters for free, is the best way of describing it. Jody, do you think Austin Powers shagged the spy around the side? It's going to be the advantage now for the Stormers. Passing off to Dan Duplessis. Yeah, Malachi Fekatoa, he's looking very lost at the moment for Munster, which is why you go to his side. There we go, trying to tackle Stephen Kitsoff. Just manages to wrestle him down. Still 5 meters out, but the handling from the Stormers has been the concerning part for them so far throughout this matchup. So they just need to make sure they do not put this ball down. They're still playing nice offload. Franz Malharba scores the try for the Stormers. That'll be the first of the day. Would you recommend living in New Zealand? I mean, it depends on where you go. To be honest, like Auckland is great in some ways, but also I don't think I could see myself or many people who want slightly less of a hectic lifestyle living there, mainly because it's very busy. There's a huge amount of people. So, like, if you had to live anywhere, I recommend somewhere in the South Island. It's a bit colder, but like in terms of me and George, like I mentioned last night, it was 10:30 at night, and we were like, let's just go to the park for a run, not having to worry about like any sort of attacking scenario or anything like that. It's just like it's a quiet town where we are. You just pretty much get to chill out. And Event Horizon was so good. There's Scrumless, and I think Event Horizon before Jurassic Park, when I think Sam Neill and the Kiwi lad have become the SA lad, says Eben there. Would get me in trouble, wouldn't it, with the Kiwi supporters? Agree, mate. Hopefully you have already. But it is to take, but it will take time. Is New Zealand a racist country? I feel like it's one of those ones that, like, it's not everyone. There's always someone, if that makes sense. That's a kick out to the left for Mani Lebok. Like, when you look at a group of, let's say, for example, 1,000,000 people, you're always going to find those few who think slightly differently to the rest of the group in terms of that side of things. But, like, overall, like, I would say it's not too bad. Like, compared to some other places, it's pretty good overall. I don't like some of the Pacific players. They're journeymen a bit too much. Fikatawa is leaving Munster and going to France after one season. There's Bupa there as well. See, Fikatawa, he's one that I try and get behind every once in a while because he was an All Black, but the way that he plays, I always wonder, like, how much are they paying him? That's, like, the thing that honestly comes to mind, because some of his performance are very 50-50. Like, I don't want to blame him for that try, but he gave them an extra 40 meters that they wouldn't have had otherwise. They don't like to live in crowded places, he's coding. I feel like depending on what you do for an occupation, depending on what you look for where you live, will depend on if you like a crowded place. Like, for me, at the moment, I find small town is ideal because, like, we've got, like, it's a big backyard. It's not huge compared to some people's yards, of course, but, like, we've got room either side of the house where there's a little bit of grass and whatnot, so that, like, I can talk at this volume at 5 a.m. and not have neighbors knocking on my wall in a flat, like, housing apartment building or anything like that going, oi, shush. Like, it's nice. We also got the bloody double glazed windows, so they help a little bit with the noise. I was a bit disappointed with the Lions result. Do you think next season the Lions can be in the playoffs? There's still a chance this year, but very little, says Cameron. Yeah, unfortunately, losing that game to Leinster, it really hurt them. And they missed out on the Champions Cup. They're probably going to miss out on the top 8, unfortunately. They're sitting on 40 points. Unless Connacht lose badly next week, who are they playing? If they're playing the Lions, that would be great. Okay, Lions play Zebra, so there's still a bit of a chance. Connacht going to be taking on Glasgow. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that ends up going. Glasgow, of course, will be looking to take out that game relatively comfortable. Frikatoa is having a good match, says Connor. Is he? So far, I've seen him drop the ball. No, sorry, not drop the ball. Run into his teammate for obstruction, and then also late shot there on Libok. But, yeah, give up about 40 meters that then led to a Stormers try. He's having a good game for the Stormers, I would say, so far for Fikatawa. But great thing about rugby, it can always improve. And this year is they have a chance at Little. What school would you recommend in New Zealand if you want your rugby to go far? I would say probably Christchurch, to be honest. Like, all those type schools like King's College, all those ones normally have. But the thing is, for those ones, you've got to already be pretty decent at rugby going into it, because they'll have a lot of different, like, I guess, what would you call it? Not playoff or qualification, but you'd have tryouts and whatnot to be able to get far. The Springboks coach leaving after the World Cup, who's an option? Says Cameron Milner. Tricky, isn't it? Because I feel like they've got a few options, but the question is, are they going to pull the trigger on any of them? Because there's been a lot of guys that people have wanted to see as South African coach for a long time. They haven't gone with them. And Mane Lebok's conversion kicking hasn't improved. Time for the Stormers to get Gianni Lumpard from the Lions to compete for the 10 jersey. I'm going to ask a question, Bupa. Why doesn't Damian Valimza kick anymore? I noticed it when it was the Springboks last year, or in fact, it might have been earlier this year. No, it was last year, sorry. We're in the 4th month. Like, Damian Valimza, they were picking Faf de Klerk's kicking over Valimza. Yet Valimza, if I'm not wrong, normally has a pretty high kicking accuracy. Missed one kick, and they were like, "You're never kicking for the box again." I vote for Johan Achman Cameron. There's a roll off. Our ball available inside of the 22 full Munster. Not quite getting that line out right there, the Stormers, as they now start to creep their way forward. But they have got the advantage as well. That is for a knock on, though, rather than the penalty. He completely lost his confidence in his goal kicking, I think. Must be getting, or he was getting so much stick. And they missed quite a few and badly too, says Ethan. Although, you look at someone like a Bowden Barrett, perfect example how he went from missing a lot, just having that little bit of time off kicking and then coming back in. Like for the Blues, he was kicking extremely well, although recently had about 2 from 8, so he might be back to his old ways. But I'll be honest, Valimza for me, if he spends a little bit more time on the kicking tee, he's a great option because he can also nail those long ones every once in a while. Like we've seen it in the past, I'm nailing the 50-meter ones. And definitely when they don't know who they want to kick, like depending on the halfback, I'm normally of the idea that you get someone in those backs to do it rather than that looked like a bit of shepherding there against Hudsonberg. He's asking for the penalty, but it doesn't look like he will end up getting it. And Kenan Moody, Sibut Nkose, Chislin Colby, Mapimpi, and Rinsa as wings who you drop for the World Cup. Out of those guys, I'll be honest, I think Nkose hasn't really had too much international recently. So he's probably the one, like Moody. It depends if they want to go young, though. It's probably between Moody or Nkosi for me, who does get dropped out of those boys. If they do decide to drop one, they may actually take all of them. Just saying, like, they'll go with maybe a fullback cover as well. I'm going for the Western Province trials. What advice would you give me in rugby as I'm 13 years of age? Says Jody. What position do you play, Jody? First of all, and then I'll try my best to give you some good advice. Good question, Hamish. Don't know why Damien don't kick for the Stormers. Henceforth, I said Gianni Lompard is a good competitor. And yeah, but New Zealand can run and tries from everywhere. But for South Africa, we love a good boot. I take the 3, so good kicking or goal kicking is more important for the box, I feel. Says Ethan there. And I guess Pollard will add that, won't he? Lock, says Jody. Okay, so as a young lock, I think your best bet, to be honest, this is actually all positions as well. Just put everything into it. Train hard and just show intent while you're out on the field. Because as a lock, like, yes, people will be looking at the lineouts, but other than that, your job is to try and make some sort of impact so that people are like, is he the number 4? Is he the number 5? Because they're always going to see the flashiness of the backs, the big forwards. You know, you'll see your props, they're normally a bit bigger, but a lock has the ability of being that little bit of a dark horse in a side to be able to not just maybe get a turnover every once in a while, put in some big hits. And yeah, in space, just run hard. Show intent, because that's something that as a young player in trials, they'll look at and go, this guy, even though he's young, he wants it. You know, like there are so many young kids. I remember we had football tryouts ages ago for our side just because we actually ended up with like maybe 20 people going for it. Dan Duplessis, now nice wide cut out pass out to Sanatla, going down the wing, does the grubber. Was he tackled late? I believe he was. They might have to check this. It's taken back. It's going to be a 5-meter scrum for the Stormers anyway. Yeah, we had some people who were just like chilling, not even trying. Like after each drill, they'd sit down. That's one thing you shouldn't do. Like be puffed, but don't sit down on the ground because they'll go, no, he's going to get gassed. Bulls line out areas for focus, obviously, for locks, says Ethan. And as a Bulls fan, I think we should buy Sanali Mohamba. And thank you, Ethan. We'll try my utmost best, says Jody. But yeah, just show intent. Show that you want to be there and that you're working hard. And don't give up. If you don't get it the first time, that's not saying you never will. That's not saying that next year when you try or the year after, sometimes it's just not the right timing. Maybe they're looking for something different, but just keep trying. Keep practicing, keep getting better fitness, keep running. Something that I need to do. We actually went for a run, though, me and George, last night at a dark park. We couldn't see, which is why we decided to run around a track rather than just the park, because we were initially going to run, but we thought they had lamps, but they didn't. And we were worried we were going to run into each other. So on the track, he was on one side and I was on the other, we'd whistle. so we knew whereabouts each other were because you couldn't even see when it's like 5 meters out in front of you. Now, the very old drop ball from Diamani, only a meter out from the line. Looks like they will be going back for another advantage, though. Never onside. Who's the number 8 today, Cameron? There's Ethan. And also, we have got there try and try again. And when the first rugby game played, is it New Zealand versus England? Oh, first ever rugby match. I can't actually remember who was a part of it. I think it was England, though. Would you say I have ball knowledge? I'm not sure. Overall, I don't know how you go with your lineouts and whatnot. One of the most important things is work just as hard at school as you do on the field. Munster Academy insists on prospective players also do well in school. You can achieve good luck, says Mountains of Asylum. And that's the same in Christchurch as well, actually. Like with those young Canterbury players or Crusaders players, they actually make sure that outside of their rugby, they're also like most of them are enrolled in university or working in trades just to be able to also have that experience and build outside of rugby as well. It's going to become available. Oh, Paul DeVet at the back, going off to Dan Duplessis. He's had a fantastic game, going very well. Now Van Heerden, big bump off. Now not back on side, so it's going to be another penalty advantage in favour of the Stormers. Money Lebok wrestled down low by Baron and also Lachman. Now DeVet going around the side. And the thing is, the Stormers have not had the best first half. If they score now, they could go into halftime on a clean slate, 12 all. And hey, what do you think? And also, who do you think is Stormers number 8 or number 8? Stormers, I think hey, he's a future. Oh, sorry, Diamani, I realised that was. Oh, double blow of the whistle. This would almost be a last warning here for Munster. This match is intense. Ref warning now, isn't it? Next one is yellow. Exactly right. I went to Canterbury Uni. There's Karma pitch. Okay. Peter O'Mahony, negotiations there with the referee didn't go too well. When the referee says there was someone offside at the breakdown, and he goes, what breakdown? And the referee lists about 3. It's never good. And Stormers not getting that scrum dominance, says Bupa, although they're going to try it again. And we are nice Group A, giving out some nice advice, says Ethan. We are, yeah. Everyone working hard in their own ways, I guess you could say. Like, that's the thing. At the end of the day, the start of the channel, the goal was to have a community. I thought it would be a lot smaller, the community, I'll be honest. But yeah, have a group of people who we can just pretty much have a chat with each and every week about rugby, about all sorts. And Stormers need to get one more try, says Jody. They certainly do. And if they manage to get this try, like I mentioned, they'll be going into the halftime break, more than likely 12 all, which is quite interesting. And could be a Club Rugby New Zealand versus South Africa Club Rugby, how they play. Says Cameron. Is that the question or a statement, Cameron? But yeah, it's always entertaining watching a club or a young side in New Zealand playing a young side in South Africa, like the schoolboy rugby. It's always very competitive. Who is it? Normally King's College for New Zealand, I believe. And then also, who's the young South African side? I've completely forgotten, unfortunately. Diamani, very classy, skillful and speedy, but needs to show he can get down and dirty more. Physicality is the core of the bot game plan. Everything else follows. Yeah, I guess now that they have got that Vermeulen gap that I guess has already slightly been filled by the other men, such as a Jasper Visa, big run. Ronell's got the ball down, and it's the try. Stormers at halftime going to be 12 points to all. It just shows no matter how your half starts, it's how you finish it. And they've just finished it very well. But I'd assume that it's a little bit similar overall for like club rugby wise. Cameron, like club rugby here is very chilled out to a certain extent, depending on the club that you're playing for, like the local rugby ground. In fact, that's something that I want to do this season. I want to go to some local rugby games. Just because I know that our team normally they actually go all right. And yeah, I feel like I should be down there. How did rugby attract you, says Jody? I think as a Kiwi, you always have it somewhere near you, whether someone's talking about the Super Rugby comp or the All Blacks. Oh, I think they played today, the Senior Bs. Is that the local rugby ground? That man for us have a face tattoo? He does. Interesting. Never seen him before in my life. I don't really see anyone that I know. So that's the senior Bs. I'm quickly checking to see if I can find out if the seniors played. I don't believe so. That is a shame. But I'm sure they'll play at some stage. Did your parents or family play? My dad played a little bit of rugby. He had to give it up eventually, I think, due to work commitments and everything along those lines. Did break his collarbone at one point as well. Crusaders and Leinster, two best club teams. Says Carmen Pitch, but so far tackles made 99 by Munster. We go into halftime though, 12 all in this matchup. So, it's one of those ones that no matter how you start a half, it's how you finish it. And Stormers certainly finished that half a lot stronger. Maybe Munster gassing themselves out after an early good start. Let me ask the question, does Jordie Barrett start at the World Cup bench, the World Cup, or not make the World Cup? Well, he's going to be at the World Cup. Unless there's an injury, Jordie Barrett will be somewhere around that New Zealand side. In terms of whether you're starting him, he might be starting at 12 or 15, I would say. At a guess. One moment, we'll go like this, and like that, because I did mention it a little bit earlier on. So I'm hoping that I can okay, one moment, we'll go like this. We add the banner. We'll say that the Stormers are on 12, Munster on 12. At half time. There we go. The reason I'm adding this is because I told you guys earlier on that we did end up doing some bowling earlier on, 10-pin bowling, me, George, and Daniel. So the reason we decided we'd go bowling is because we were like, we've got a free afternoon, might as well have a bit of a filming session and whatnot, get ahead in the filming department. So what we'll quickly do is we're going to remove that from the screen. We're going to go like this, and like, how do we do this to get that on? There we go. We're going to share this screen, ladies and gentlemen, just for a moment while we're at halftime. We've got a little bit of time to fill. So here we are. That's me with a bowling ball in my hand. In fact, two balls. One for each hand. At the moment, they are just testing the microphones I see there. I don't think they realize that they're live on the air. You're going to count us in, is what the guy said. Yep, they're already in, bud. Everyone can already see you. But yeah, so pretty much we were going to do some filming. I think I'm going to make myself slightly smaller. Whoa, not that small, though. Got any halfway in between? Not really. Okay, we're going to go with that then. So pretty much the plan was to film. And it was all good. It was going well. We had one bowl, I think, at the start. Put the ball down. It was such a good first bowl. I'll be honest. I tried to really smart, try and be a little bit too fancy with it. And it went straight into the gutter. But then something happened that meant that the whole video went out the window. And that is that apparently at 7 p.m. at night, they turn the lights off and it goes to nighttime, like light bowling. So that's all well and good. We went at 6 p.m., but they decided they'd do it early tonight. So as you can see, we're bowling away. And then all of a sudden, how are you supposed to see what's going on when it looks like that? So that was a video that we were thinking about releasing that now we probably can't, because even though it looks cool, you can't really see what's going on. Unfortunately, I have a pain in my head and I can't get rid of it. Have you drunk plenty of water, Connor? If so, have you also had plenty of sleep? Is it like a headache or is it like a different pain? And Leinster to lose, Stormers, Brumbies, Chiefs, Crusaders and Blues are the best unions. And there, do you see most of the famous YouTubers are great actors and vice versa? I mean, I haven't really seen too many YouTubers go over to acting, to be honest. Like, who are some examples you'd say? Coding. And say I'm lying. Geordie Barrett is the best 10 of all time. Well, you probably, if you're talking Bowden, or are we talking Geordie? Buff de Klerk, Jaden Hendricks, Herschel Yankees, Kobus, who's not going? Who starts, who benches? Who's your third option? For me, it's probably going to be de Klerk and Hendrickse. And then I would personally take Kobus Reinach, but they might take Herschel Yankees instead, just because he is a decent option. But yeah, like you can clearly see the pins, but you can't see if someone is about to throw the ball. Like there I am with my light up shoes. Look at the spin on that beauty. And headache. So yeah, headache normally either water or I would go with some sleep. Even though it's early in the afternoon, if your head hurts, the best bet for you is definitely close your eyes for a little bit. There's also like pressure points and stuff, but I always find it hard to find them. And it can also, I can see it, barely see it. Exactly. That is the point, Ethan. They turned off the lights on us. And it was very sad. But yeah, apparently there's like a pressure point. Now, if you get your thumb right and you press on the inside of your nose on this side, like that, and then while doing that, you push down on the opposite back, like neck muscle that joins your neck. Like when you like feel those two there, apparently you push on that with one thumb and that on the other for like a minute, and then you switch or something. Apparently that can help. I've never found that it did. You probably go to sleep and take a break from your devices. That is also true. Devices will make it hard, and are Scotland going to make it out of their group for the World Cup? It's unlikely at the moment, unfortunately, but an upset could happen. And Bulls nearly put 80 points on Zebra. Yeah, they had a good game. The Bulls, they were happy to be home, weren't they? Whoa, I sneezed so hard I went out of focus. Here we go. I'm just showing the highlights of the first half. Munster certainly had the best of the first 20 minutes, but the second 20 minutes, you'd say, went back in favour of the Stormers. So now we're a lot closer in the second half. 40 minutes to split these two sides. I would say out of these two sides now, I'd say Stormers are well and truly in the box seat. Or the box seat, as you could say. Ha ha. 5:20 a.m. jokes. Always a bit worse than the daytime jokes. But at bowling, ladies and gentlemen, we're going today as well. Well, I am with the fam for a birthday party. But I actually got 3 strikes in a row, which is not easy to do. And I don't think I will ever be able to do that again. But yeah, 3 strikes in a row, a turkey as it is called, in the darkness. Like, I hardly saw it because of the footage being dark. What time is it in New Zealand? It's currently 5:20 a.m. at the moment here in Kiwiland. So straight after this game, which is going to be finished at maybe about 10 past 6, I'm going to be heading to bed again, sleeping till about maybe 11:30, somewhere around there, waking up, getting ready to go because we have to travel 30 minutes to get to the place where the birthday is going to be. So, yeah, I think that's going to be the plan. And what is this I hear about Adesanya New Zealand roots, is it? Are we going to have South Africa versus New Zealand in the Octagon too? Adesanya versus Drekas. I mean, Drekas du Plessis has been doing very well for himself lately in the UFC. The question of, is he Adesanya quality? He's very good. At the moment, I would say not quite. I think he still needs another maybe 3 or so bouts just to really get him going. But then after that, I think that we could certainly see New Zealand versus South Africa. I'm out of focus again. One moment. We will go like this. There we go. All sorted. But yeah, it will be interesting. I want to see him fight. Mainly because, like, other than, like, you look at that middleweight division, Adesanya has now beaten pretty much everyone in there. And yes, Pereira has beaten him too. So it makes it a little bit more juicy in that department. But he's beaten Vittoria, he's beaten Whitaker, beaten Cannoneer, um, Paulo Costa, he's beaten all those guys. So that division's at a little bit of a standstill while they get a new champion or while they wait for a new contender. And from what I've seen, Adesanya should beat him quite easy. Gasses out and gets hit too easy. But a right trooper, says Ethan. Bye, I've enjoyed the advice and I subscribed. I thank you all. Says Jody, no worries at all, Jody, and good luck at your trial when it does take place. Hopefully you do smash it out the park. Who knows, maybe we'll be calling one of your games in the future. Yeah. I've noticed no matter what, you've always got a little bit of Bon Jovi at a rugby game. That just seems to be the case every single game, no matter where you are in the world. It's like Sweet Caroline. That always seems to pop up at some point in a rugby matchup. Speaking of rugby matchups, we haven't covered a huge amount of them throughout this weekend, ladies and gentlemen. That has just been mainly due to the lack of them that have been on at certain times that we needed them here in New Zealand. But next weekend, I believe we've got the URC of those games next week. We're hoping to cover, I would say, which ones will we be covering? We'll be covering Bulls versus Leinster, Sharks versus Munster. I believe those will be the two ones that we have got next week. Super Rugby-wise, we're going to be covering all of those games. I believe for Super Rugby, they are going to be back to playing 6 games. Just have a very quick look. Full time in the Waratahs Western Force game was 36-16 for anyone wondering about that contest. It did take place most recently. In fact, no, sorry. We've only got 4 games again. So Saturday and Friday night, going to have 2 and 2, and then no games taking place on Sunday. It's interesting because we've had so many ones now, like of 6 games, and now we're only into the 4-game streak. Well, the Warriors, they will be playing on Tuesday, the 25th of April, as their next game. So we've actually got a little bit of a break for the Warriors for their next contest. But we will actually, of course it would be on a Tuesday. I'll be working when they play the Storm, unfortunately, for that one. But we might be able to cover a little bit of the other games in the NRL. We're still wanting to. We were supposed to cover the NRL most recently yesterday, but we didn't get the chance to, unfortunately, due to ending up going bowling with George and Daniel, a couple of the other Kiwi lads. It was good to see them, though. Like, we don't really get to catch up that much now that it is winter, so those boys are working tirelessly. RG Snyman not starting the half the way that he would have wanted to. That's going to be going back for the original knock-on. Oh, it's actually going to be a Munster scrum here. A little bit of luck at the start of the second half for Munster, but this is going to be an important 40 minutes for these two sides. Stormers want to book themselves back into the number 2 position. Alongside that, we are going to see a Munster side that could make a little bit more of a push towards the top 4, getting a home final if they work extremely hard in this contest. And their next one, they'd have to get it by 10 points, though, so they actually need a lot more tries than the 2. They'll need another 2 more on top of it. Munster a little bit lucky to end up with the scrum, but now the penalty goes the way of the Stormers, so I guess it slightly evens itself out. They might consider 3 points here. Yep, Kitsoff is already pointing for the post. They'll be taking on the 3 points, and that would actually give them the lead for the first time in this contest if the kick does go over. Luckman not happy with the way that he went straight down at scrum time. Now Money Lebok looking for this kick. Only 90 seconds into the second half of the contest. Yeah, it's so weird only doing, like, this weekend we've done 3 live streams. I don't think we've done 3 live streams on a weekend since, I don't even know when. Maybe like January might have been the last time that on a weekend we don't know. I think there was still enough games going on with the URC Champions Cup wise. I think 3 live streams is an all-time low for us in a weekend. We've been slacking a little bit, but we have still been editing other videos. There will be a couple coming out in the near future on the channel. That kick from Mani Learbach has hit the post, bounces back out. Oh, he has managed to take the mark. Yep, free kick. Ben Jason Dixon makes the big tackle. Yeah, Learbach is not going to be a box starter or a Bock after that, says Bopar. And do you know where a team needs to finish to get into next year's Champions Cup? Says Ethan, I believe for the URC, it's about the top, I think it's actually the top 14. Go through. I'll just have a quick look. Or is it the top 12? Might be the top 12 qualify for the Champions Cup next year. And then the bottom 4 go through to the Challenge Cup. We'll have a quick gaze. Okay. Top 4 conference winners and the next 4 highest ranked qualify for the Champions Cup. So, yeah, it's pretty much 8 teams, but not the top 8. It's based off the provinces a little bit. So, no, you could see a top 8 kind of. So, yeah, top 8, and then the rest go through to the Challenge Cup. Now, rolling more here. 3 in the side, penalty advantage in favour of the Stormers. Big wide cutout pass to Damian Willemse. Forward pass. Our wide to Hudson-Berg looking for the corner. No, couldn't quite keep himself in the field of play. They're going to be going back for the penalty, though, in favour of the Stormers. They might actually kick this one for the corner, seeing as that last one that they did go for the 3 points wasn't successful. All right, so the Sharks should get in that really, because that will be a massive loss for them. Says Ethan, yeah, so they will still go through, I believe, because of the way that it works out. So it's not the top 2 from each conference. Instead, yeah, it's the top team from each conference and then the next 4 highest qualifiers, which is pretty much, in a way, the top 8. Like, I don't know how that wouldn't work out as the top 8. I'm sure there'd be some sort of way that it could. I guess it's only really if it was the other way around. 4 conferences, Ireland, South Africa, Wales. Final conference is Scotland/Italy. Here's Mountains of Asylum. A line out going to be thrown in by Joseph Weber. Throws it straight into the hands of Peter O'Mahony. I know the two were having a bit of a chat earlier on. It's on the same page now. Breaking off the back. Big shot there on Alex Kendallin. Ball is available for Connor Murray now at the back to be able to either put it back into the pocket. Over a boot of his own. Looks like he will be the man kicking this one. It is high. And it is a great kick from Connor Murray. Getting down to the 22, it relieves some of the pressure. The Stormers at the moment, they're breathing down the try line of the Munster men, and URC should replace Zebre with the Scottish Rugby Union, says Bupar. I mean, Zebre, it's a shame that they haven't been able to get themselves any victories, but they've actually been very close in quite a few of their games. Like Zebre, they're sitting on, 10 points, but they haven't won a contest, which means 10 times in the past, they've either scored enough tries for a bonus point or they've been within 7. That looked like tackling the man without the ball, and Kitsov is asking for the penalty. They will receive it. But Munster need to be careful here to giving away so many in a row. That time it was against Jean Klein being penalised. And Weber, mate, another one. And they won't get into the box. Team can't throw as a hooker. Forget about it, man. Just to play another position, try prop, says Ethan there. Right, now the Stormers once again will kick for the corner, which is slightly concerning because that means that now they don't even back Learbach kicking. They don't back Learbach, they don't kick for Limza. Who's going to take the kicks if they need them to? Yeah, tackle without the ball there. I believe it was Damian Willemse just a little bit too early making the tackle there, Shane Daly. Now 5 meters out from the line, Weber. Can he get it to his teammate? He's gone to the back. That time works out a lot nicer. Marvin Ori now gets it back. Weber may just find himself with a try here if he's not careful. Starting to roll forward quite nicely here for the home side at Cape Town Stadium. It's going to be the advantage now. Now looking for this ball. It does pop out the back to Paul DeVette. Looks like the ball's actually ended up on the Munster side. Where'd the advantage go? The referee's taken his advantage back. The assistant is checking, though. So for now, Munster have got the ball 5 meters out from their line. Whoever is all right next season, he won't make such mistakes, Ethan. Yeah, see, his throwing has gotten a little bit better this year. than last year. And I feel like that's the main thing to look at, like compared to where he was, like, yeah, last year. He was throwing like 1 from 4 straight. He has 3 seasons now, needs to sort. And I was like, there's Gareth. Hello, Gareth. Hope you are doing well, mate. Did the Sharks win? Surely. Surely they would have beaten Benetton, wouldn't they? Sharks, where are they? Yeah, they beat Benetton. I was going to say, if they didn't beat Benetton and me going, surely they won, I'm sure that wouldn't have made you feel any better, Gareth. But nah, getting themselves to win, still conceding 33 points. They might be a little bit annoyed about. Right, here he comes back after a long layoff. Evan Ruas, big opportunity for him. And is his first season. He was in France last season, says Bupar. Yeah, as well. Right, Ben Jason Dixon, he is the man who has been replaced by Evan Ruas. Hope he isn't in or is still an impact player, says Bupar. It may take him a few games, though. Some players, when they do return, they're a slow burn. But other players, when they return, they're just pretty much guns blazing, absolutely going for it. And I think Evan Ruas is one of those guys who will be absolutely going for it. 47 minutes down in this contest. It is flying by at the moment, this second half. Like it will be a line out for Joseph De Weber, 22 meters out from the line. Have we jinxed him with the line out throwing, or is this one going to be successful? Yep, straight enough. What I would call that one. Dan Duplessis now goes back across Paul De Vet. Emma Ruas runs straight, and Malakai Fekatoa. Now Paul De Vet almost at the ball, knocked out of his hands. RG Snyman makes the tackle on him though. Weber plays half, goes to kits off. Just inside of the Munster 22 now. The Stormers still in possession. Awaiting that third try. Will help them secure second place in the overall table. Mani Leboch now goes across to Evan Ruas. Another carry from him. So 2 in the first minute of being on the field. Now Diane Mani. Strong number 8. Wrestled down. De Vet hangs on to that one. You heard him. Get smashed there, Mani Leboch knocking the ball on, and now back into the hands of Munster. Almost a knock on from them as well, but it's kicked downfield from Jack Crowley, looking for the touchline. Sinatla takes it, doesn't find touch. Now it's dangerous because Damian Valimza thought about the offload, goes up to Dan Duplessis instead. Oh, big tackle made on Peter O'Mahony. Now will be the big number 4 there for the Stormers. Van Heeren, but over the ball, Gavin Coombs wins the penalty for Munster. Not releasing penalty. Munster supporters in attendance. Actually quite a few for this game, which is quite impressive. Who's Munster's number 8? That is Gavin Coombs. Man, he's been very unlucky to miss out on an Irish international spot in that loose forward trio. But then you see who's playing in that Irish loose forward trio and you think, you can understand why it's a bit tough. But he's certainly got the potential of being one of those guys in the future. Looks like Baron might have a bit of a neck injury here from just how he tackled. Straight over the ball. Good positioning from Gavin Coombs. Now, Munster, they will be kicking this one downfield once Baron has had medical attention. He's actually made 13 tackles today for Munster. Also, Kendallin has also brought up the 13, and then Frisch, the number 10 for Munster, having 10 tackles from this match. A little bit of black eyed peas. Tonight's going to be a good night. It certainly might be. I think the boys, if they aren't working, we might end up going fishing. So that will be a very fun time. It's going to be a kick for the touchline there from Crowley. Ball does end up going into touch about 40 metres out from the Stormers line. And Gavin has a British citizenship, should sign up for Scotland, says Bupar. Although he has played a couple international caps, I believe, for the Irish. So he might not be able to switch at this stage. I believe he played up against were they international? Yeah, I think he was a part of one of those New Zealand games on New Zealand soil. I know that he also ended up taking on the New Zealand 15. One of his other games. Nice quick hands there. Out the back line, here come Munster with a bit of space. Here comes Shane Daly. Cuts on the inside. Sinatla taken out by his teammate there. Now tries to go short side, passes it AJ Jacobs. He is actually the assistant referee, though. That didn't quite work out the way they would have liked, but I do see that Craig Casey, I believe he's going to be coming off the bench for Munster a little bit later on this contest, alongside Jack O'Donoghue, another very good player. Keith Earls in the back line alongside Ben Healy. Clayton Blomakis yet to come on the field for the Stormers. Herschel Yankees also available as those back replacements. They've been told to use it now, the Stormers, as they sit 32 metres out from their own line. Paul Levette looking to roll this one back. Go for the high kick. Babar Azam century, and Pakistan finishes 194, 192 for 4. Can Black Caps chase it? It's a chaseable total, but it's just whether or not they're able to do it in the match. I mean, if anything has been taught to us, most recent, or one of those recent games between South Africa and West Indies, any total is possible to chase down. Now, what did South Africa chase down? 255 runs off the 20 overs, and they still had an over to spare. So, yeah, anything's possible. It's just whether or not they're able to do it. Wonder what John Dobson said to the fellas at halftime. Says Boopah. See, it's a tricky one because both sides had their moments, didn't they? Munster started well. So they would have been like, just go back to doing what you were doing. But then they've already given away about 3 penalties in this half. Whereas the Stormers, they finished a lot better. So for the Stormers, it would have been keep your intensity, keep doing what you finished that half as. And then for Munster, it would have been try and get your momentum back. And passing the ball straight into the hands of Marty Leboch will certainly not do that. That was a bit of poor work, Munster. That's going to be, leave it, it's lost is what they've just said. I think he was very unlucky not to win that penalty. The turnover. Gavin Coombs now pulled the vet, goes across. Damian Willemser went for the kick and behind it, has bounced back now to Sinutlu, kicks it out on the full. So Munster will now have themselves the line out 45 metres out from the Stormers line here. Sounds like, Damian Willemser, not a very happy boy. What's he not happy about? He's the one who messed up the kick. Don't blame Sinutlu for kicking it out on the front or kicking it out on the full when you balls it up in the first place. Seems like he's kind of, what's it called when you blame other people for your own mistakes? I feel like that's what he was doing there. Diverting, is that what it is? I feel like he was diverting some of the problem that he had with other players on his team. Do rugby players' jerseys have shoulder pads, or does Damien just have protruding shoulders? Says Boopah. Depends on the player. I know that someone like a Johnny Sexton, he does have those pads in, which is probably fair enough because he gets absolutely smashed every time he plays. But yeah, it just depends on the kit. I think one of the Barretts at one stage went through a phase where they had a little bit of something there. But yeah, some players just have. Yeah, see, Munster, I think because there's that like pack at the back that tracks them as well, they've got a little bit of padding around the back of the neck. And that's probably just to make it feel a little bit less rough when you do land on that pack. I was only wrong when other people do it, says Mountains of Asylum. Yeah, it's a weird one. And I feel like it's not really a team spirit, is it? If you're going to blame everyone else for your own mistakes, like, that's not who you want on a side. Like, there's frustration and then there's just, like, being a dick. Going off to the left-hand side. Another big run from Munster. And guilt tripping is blaming someone else for your own fault, says Bopar there. Yeah. So, like, Sinutlu, don't get me wrong, terrible kick from him. Went straight into touch. But Willemser's kick was charged down. He was lucky that Sinutlu was lurking in behind, or else they would have lost about 30 metres in the process of the deflection. Now, nice pass from Wickerley. Good solid run from, I believe that would have been Jack Crowley. Now, RG Snyman thought about the offload, doesn't end up finding it though. Connor Murray rushed defence there from Paul Devet. Doesn't work out. Quick hands from Munster. Good tackle made by Sinutlu. Off to the right-hand side, Malachi Fekatoa. Hi all. It's a great game so far, says Richard. Certainly is. Close one between these two sides. Munster sitting in 5th. Stormers in 3rd on the overall URC table. And there's still potential. Munster need to get themselves the bonus point victory to then have a crack being able to break the top 4 and get themselves a home final. bit untidy there from Munster, but they're 40 metres out from the line. Did I say Leinster? I meant Munster, if I did say Leinster. 13 phases in, moving up to 14 now. And I wouldn't be concerned if I was Munster. I wouldn't rush to kick this. At the end of the day, you're going to have to keep on tiring out the Stormers anyway. Might as well use the ball quite a bit in your hands. Just keep it going. Fikatoa takes contact. Now Murray goes back to RG Snyman. Oh, he carried a bit high there. Needs to get one of the knees down. Has he done so? He might not have. The maul is called and got stuck there, RG Snyman. Bit of a rookie error from that man. Did end up just getting held up. And also, Stormers need Dion Fourie. Next season, the Stormers going to make a couple of players play like Dion, says Bupa. Although the thing is, when you say to a player, play like Dion Fourie, that's hard to do because how many games have we seen where Dion Fourie walks away with 2 black eyes, a busted lip, a bleeding nose, and still has a smile on his face? Like, that is something that you cannot teach a player. What he does on the field in terms of those breakdowns, those jackals. You can get someone else doing that, it's going to be successful. But Dion Fourie, the man just bleeds, he bruises, and then he goes, light day at the office. We'll be back next week. We'll give it another go. Oh, Jack Crowley going off the field now. That is going to be the replacement, I believe, Ben Healy making his way out there now. Crowley disappointed, though. He wanted to have one last impact in this contest. Didn't get it, though. Scrum feed for the Stormers. Herschel Yankees now on the field. That is for Paul DeVette. So both sides deciding to make their subs. 25 minutes remaining on the clock. The second half has been breezing by, like I mentioned. Now, Springboks coming off the bench. What type of impact can they find for the Stormers outfit? Solid scrum. No one really moving. At this point, Herschel Yankees now decides to go off to the right-hand side. Damien Valimza kicks it in behind, looking for the territory game, but it does go straight into the hands of Munster. I wonder who he's going to blame for that one. Now kicked high. Nicely taken by Damien Valimza. Back across to Mani Lebok. Kicks it downfield. Back down into the Munster 22. Straight away here, I can notice that the Stormers, their tactic is to try and get Munster to put the ball into touch. That's a brilliant kick, though. So now all of a sudden it's been reversed, and the Stormers are the side who have to put that ball into touch. Valimza, decent enough kick, gets it down almost to halfway. Facial injuries taken seriously, like head injuries in rugby. Dion fractured his cheekbone. There's Bupa. It's an interesting one because HIA-wise, if he was acting like he had concussion-like symptoms, they probably would have taken it more seriously. But because, like, Dion Fourie is the type of player to come off the field at the end of a game, and when they're like, "You all good?" He's like, "Yeah, I've just got this problem." And then his jaw's just hanging, the arm's just dangling down, or the wrist, it's just sitting there unattached, and he'd be like, "So just a couple little things, but I'll be good to go for training in 2 days' time." Like, he seems like he's not a player that if he gets an injury, he's going to try and stop playing. He will just keep on going. But yeah, they probably should look at those type of injuries closely. Normally it's Bloodbin does get attention, but oh, great pass. Another one. That was close to 4, but now Shane Daly looking for the corner. Sinutla tries to stop him, but great finishing quality from Shane Daly. Munster take the lead now. That'll be the 5th try this season for Daly. Scoring on the day, not quite on the daily, because they played 17 times. He's only scored 5. So not quite daily for him, but does manage to get another try. They now need one more. Damn, Graham Roundtree came with a plan to beat the Stormers, says Bupa. There as well. It was a great flat pass out to the number 15, Mike Haley. Then another one, Shane Daly. Just got to the line. It was tricky. He'd have a few extra meters that he had to try and make first. So Nutler, he did everything that he could have. He almost forced him into touch. Just wasn't quite enough. Now, this is an important kick because we've already seen the Stormers. They have missed 2. Munster have missed 1. And this is now going to be from about maybe, I'd say, 40 meters out on the angle. Somewhere around there. Mike Haley, or in fact, sorry, Ben Healy. First kick of the match, and it is near the touchline. Not exactly an easy one to make your way onto the field to try and nail. Munster now with that little bit of a lead. Charging back, ready to take this kick. He's only got 5 seconds. Need to hurry up. Yep. Yeah, I was going to say, he almost ended up blowing that. Oh, perfect kick straight down the middle. That was impressive. That is going to be 19 points to 12 now in favour of the away side Munster. A try that the Stormers did not want to concede. And that kicking territory game backfired, unfortunately for them. As much as Damian Valimza feels bad to pick on him after earlier on when he was in a bad mood, but as much as he wanted to kick that ball downfield and make Munster play deep inside of their own area, that was almost a knock-on from Munster. I think they might have missed that one, the officiating. Yeah, as much as they wanted to get Munster deep in their own 22, Munster have got a couple players who have got huge boots, and they ended up getting stuck inside of their own area instead. Now Conor Murray going for the up and under, down towards the halfway line, beautifully taken there by the number 14, Calvin Nash. If Lebok converted his goal and was reliable with his kicking, Stormers could have had 6 points. There's Bupa now, nice wide pass out to Mani Lebok. He hasn't been successful with the boot, maybe. Can be successful with the ball later on. Penalty goes the way of Munster. Right, they need the bonus point, so I would think that they will end up kicking this one for the corner. Peter O'Mahony wins the penalty for the Stormers player coming in off his feet. O'Mahony, Van Heerden, he just missed the clean out. He just ended up dropping down earlier. Then Peter O'Mahony, oh, they're going for the 3. Right. I can understand it because that will give them a bit more of a lead here, but they do still need another try if they want a home final. That is something they've got to look at here and go, well, that would be quite massive for us. At the moment, it seems like they're going to be playing Glasgow, so it's not a huge away final for their quarters, but it's still on the road. You know, you don't want to be too far away, unless maybe they do. I mean, look at what they've done in this game so far, 19 points to 12 in their favour. Healy, now the last kick, this one's going to be from 48 metres out. Got about 10 seconds remaining. He doesn't mess around once he's got it lined up. He's got 10 seconds remaining, 5 seconds remaining. I believe that clock is ticking down. That's reached 0 for the penalty number, but I believe the referee said something about a delay. So that's why he's allowed more than the 60 seconds. But he's shanked it badly, has he? Yeah, hasn't quite got the distance on that. It's probably a good thing because the rest in the crowd would have really ripped into it. What a great, says David there. Yeah, it's good. That wasn't a sentence, was it? It's been a good game so far to watch. But now, it's going to be a line-out. Commentators confused at why they weren't talking about that time going down. I believe they mentioned there was some sort of delay while finding the mark. So we're going to watch the Stormers lose second position or second position like that. Says Bupa. Right, keeping the bind at the rolling maul. Advantage for once. Conor Murray does have to use this one. Just managed to strip it out of the hand of the big forward. Mani Lebok, good tackle. Losing his footing there. Engelbrecht, so unable to get that turnover in the breakdown. Now Baron crashes at the line. Good tackle made by Joseph Dweber. Selling a dummy from Murray. Made a few extra. Now big run from was Mike Haley. We've hardly seen him in this game. But when he's been in play, he's been effective. He actually got that assist. Cross kick attempt. Oh, mistake from Mani Lebok. It's gone backwards, they say. So he is able to kick it back down the field of play, doing well under pressure there, Lebok. Inside of the 22. Healy now. Sold the dummy as if he's just put his teammate under huge pressure. That looked like not a lot of arms were going into that tackle of Ruan now. They managed to keep that ball, Munster. That was almost very risky, though. I don't know what Haley was doing other than using up extra time that he could have used kicking that ball. Now Lebok, making me furious. Scoring your goals is so vital in rugby, says Bupa. That one from Conor Murray. Oh, that hurt him. He felt that one. Kick is down towards the touchline. Looks like he is not too far away from making his way off the field. And then Craig Casey would be the man to replace him. Yeah, looking like he's feeling a little bit rough, though, Connor Murray, at this stage. Cross kick was not good, though, from Mike Haley. Just gave it away. And then Marnie Lebach just able to stay in the field of play. And he kept that pressure on. So other than his goal kicking, he's actually had not too bad of a game, Money Lebok, but it's those goal kicking ones that certainly help them big time here, the Stormers. Looks like they've made another change. That is going to be Marcel Tennyson on the field now. That is for Willie Engelbrecht and JJ Chutzia making his way on the field for Joseph the Weber. But nicely taken by Marvin Ori. Now to Herschel Yankees. Dan Duplessis. Short ball to Sanutla, searching for work at the moment in this matchup. Was waiting out on the wing, hasn't received. Oh, RG's injured. RG's down. Is he concussed or is he injury in the shoulder department? I mentioned it before the match that RG Snyman, pretty much, he's a walking injury machine. And when that injury comes will depend on whether he's able to compete in the World Cup. Looks like he's back up to his feet. Question is, was it a head knock? Yeah, he's not looking good. Looks like RG Snyman has picked up some sort of knock. Has kept him down on his back now for a little bit longer. Munster will regret not bringing Joey Carberry because their kicking was not posh. Says Bopa. Now, good work from the Stormers. Still inside of the 22. Keeping a close eye on RG Snyman. I'm trying to work out what part of his body's actually sore at this stage. He actually just looks wobbly on his feet. It might be a head knock here. He kind of looked like he was upside down at that first stage. Yeah, took a knock to the head. Was Marvin already trying to start a fight with RG Snyman even though he might have a concussion? He's already had a reverse penalty. Surely he's got enough of a brain cell not to try and start something with RG Snyman at this stage. Like, RG Snyman wasn't even anywhere near him. He was walking over to him. Yeah. RG's going off for an HIA. Good evening, Kiwi lads. I'm so sad. I'm only tuning in now. What has happened to the Stormers? Hamish have been working 10 hours a day. Very busy. Work. Sorry, I missed you, says Ruth. No worries at all. We have also done less streams this weekend. So, like, yeah, it's one of those ones that it's probably a little bit harder to catch us this weekend. We'll be back to a few more next weekend, though. And Hamish gets talking to each, basically other folks not here. Says Bopar there. Yeah, we're just having a casual chat. Aren't we, Bopar? It's good to have you here though, because keeps me on my toes, keeps me reading chat, keeps me brain ticking over. I don't know why though, but this game, normally when there's faster chat, maybe the game goes slower. Because we're already up to 65 minutes, mate. Like we're getting close to the nitty-gritty of this game. Do you like bowling, Bopar? Look at that. That's my last end in bowling. I was going bad before then, but 3 strikes in a row. That's just a little one just for you, Boopa. Since I know you will reply. The Baron looks like he is also a little bit injured, so he might be done for the day. He wants to stay on the field, but I don't know if he will. And also, I haven't seen him in a while. Probably a draw on the cards. Says Michael. I'm not sure. No, they don't go to golden point time, do they? That's Super Rugby. So, yeah, a draw would be a draw in this one. They haven't done bowling before, says Boopar. Is bowling, like, do they have bowling arcades and whatnot in South Africa or not really, Boopar? Is it something you'd be keen to do? I enjoy when it goes well, but when it doesn't go well, it's a bit sad. But interested, says Boopar. Northern Hemisphere need to learn this respect. Look, no whistling or booing. An opposition player needs some time to receive treatment, says Ethan. And thanks for your lively discussion and your happy personality. I'm feeling better already, says Ruth. And Stormers could have been in the driver's seat. Irish are stayers. Certainly are. And now they have kicked for the corner here, the Stormers. So a good chance to be able to go for that 5-meter rolling maul. JJ Kutzia ready to go. Thrown deep. Nicely done. Evan Ruas now claiming that one, the rolling ball for the Stormers, now only 2 meters out from the line. It's just a case of who's actually got the ball, who's going to get the try. To their name, it is the try for the Stormers. And also have Munster learned their lesson from the Sharks hammering in the Heineken Cup. There's Seamus. I mean, they've certainly been going not too badly, although they did just concede. I feel like we might have jinxed it there a little bit, Seamus, that one. But, I mean, that's the thing. I guess you could say it's a whole different experience, isn't it? The Champions Cup compared to the URC. It's like Munster, they unfortunately didn't, or in fact, no, sorry, they did 50 to 35, though. That's a high scoring game. Like, and to be in South Africa for that score, I feel like 35 points, like they'll be disappointed, don't get me wrong, but they still had a decent crack. And also, Hamish is an all-rounder. He does everything in commentary. Kiwi Lads rock. And also, we do have bowling venues. They are called the Funny Company for probably $8 New Zealand. You get a 3-game pass, I think. That's actually pretty good. Like here, it's 15 New Zealand dollars for one game. So theoretically, for 3 games here, I think it's $30. So actually a pretty good deal. Right, money to live off now to take the kick on. He's missed quite a few. Can he get this one? Money Lepak has. Oh no. He's missed. That's not ideal for the Stormers. Doesn't have his kicking boots on. And I'll ask the question again. Why doesn't Damian Valimza get to kick? Surely he'd be slotting those over in his sleep. Damian Valimza. Lepak has turned into Valimza with his kicking. Jeepers, man, we cannot afford Pollard to get injured, says Ethan. And Lepak is not it, says Boopar. And Lol says Eben. And the Stormers trying to says the roof. But yeah, those kicking conversions not successful. Lepak would not score in a brothel, says Michael. It's unfortunate, really, for him, isn't it? And lawn bowls is QKK. Says David, lawn bowls is Q. What is Q? I feel like it's hip terms, isn't it? Very hip, David, compared to me. It's very rude to boo the other team. Respect for all teams. Ref, if he gets it wrong. And all of Valimza. Valimza should do kicking at the deaf, says Roof. I would be less furious if this was in the north, not home. Yeah, see, that's the thing. Stormers are yet to lose a game in any format for Champions Cup and URC at home. Oh, cool. So lawn bowls is cool. My mum actually plays lawn bowls, David. She is more into her golf now, though. She has been firing back up with the golf clubs. I'm kind of keen for a golf membership. I feel like I need to get fit over the off season of cricket so that when I do GoPro videos with the helmet cam, you guys don't hear me going all the time. Which is why me and George went for a run last night. Seemed like a good idea. It was 10:30 p.m. and we were just like, let's go. Go do a little bit of sprinting at the local park. It is just going to be a scrum now against the Stormers for the knockdown. We are lucky to not get a yellow card for that. Yeah, quite lucky. Because that's the thing. Herschel Yankees, the only thing that saved him is the fact that they were like he could have gone through and got the try had he been able to claim it, but still wasn't going to be very easy for him to claim when it was that far ahead. Now 10 minutes remaining on the clock. Connor Murray's still out there. He's almost walking wounded at the moment. Only one leg's working for him. The other one isn't much better. Big push from the Stormers, but Gavin Coombs gets it off the back. Very well done from the number 8. Good step from Daly, the try scorer just recently for Munster. Trust me, only the last thing I am or ever have been called is hip, says David. I mean, you're using YouTube though, David. I feel like that's kind of hip. Like, I can't remember how old you are, but I believe you are about my mum's age, somewhere around there. Like when you're on YouTube chatting away using emojis and stuff, like that's hippish. You know, I call that hip. You're probably more hip than me, David. To be fair, a great game, 2 good teams in fairness. Says Michael, yeah, it's been a good game, close one. What everyone likes to see. That one's gone high into the sky, Levock. Takes it, a wrestle down by Malakai Fekatoa, just slams him down to the turf. 40 metres out from their own line here, Marvin Ori. So Herschel Youngie's now going to be putting up the box kick again. Stephen Kitsoff, hands on hips. He's getting tired, the big man. But I think he wants to be out there at the end of the game, which is the problem that they've got at the moment. Maybe they should go with that replacement now. Nice run from Haley. Big fend as well. Almost going straight through. Finds the offload on the outside. They say it's gone backwards. So now Kelvin Nash. Nice opportunity for him. That will be almost, yeah, that's going to be a penalty for not rolling away, or at least an advantage. Now cross kick attempted from Haley. Going high. Straight to Dan Duplessis. Now they're going to have to make the decision of if they want 3 points here. The 3 points would only... No, they need the bonus point. They need the corner kick here. And Lebock needs some stilettos. Come on, man, says Roof. And Munster got a penalty. They're probably going to kick for 3, says Bupar. Although, for them to be able to get themselves into the top 4 in a home final, they do need 10 points. And they need to rely, maybe they're not relying on Glasgow losing next week. Maybe they're just gone, that's a done deal that they're going to get it. Why can't I see these 4 passes? No replay. Broadcaster, I guess, says Ethan. Yeah, we did see one for us here. So maybe because we're on Spark Sport, it's a little bit different. Perhaps. Now 8 minutes remaining. Munster, they did kick for the corner. Cheers, the power is back, says Evan. And Munster want to go for 7. Yeah, they've got to. They need to try for the bonus point. Get themselves the 5-point win. There's the ball. Now Ben Healy. And it also uses up a little bit more time as well, doesn't it, theoretically? There you go, Healy. Taking his time. Just one for the touchline. Okay, commentator is confused at why they didn't take on the 3. Once again, like we mentioned, if they want a chance of getting a home final, they need 5 points here. They can't accept anything less. It might cost them if the Stormers are able to then get themselves 3 points from here. But if Munster score it, they could be walking away with a full 5 points. Ball's going to be available at the back for the youngster Craig Casey. So they have decided to make that change. Now Lachman. Tackled by Ivan Ruiz. He's carried the ball twice in the very first moment. Other than that, haven't really seen him. Jack O'Donoghue pushed into the line. You're actually not really supposed to do that. But now Jean Klein almost straight through. 5 meters out from the line now for Munster. For the try that could secure the deal. Kelvin Nash, 1 meter from the line. Straight between the sticks. O'Donoghue tries to go around the side. Wrestled down as well. Peter O'Mahony looking for this ball. He'll have a crack himself. The Munster captain doesn't get over there. Around the side again. That's time Luckman. Dropped on his head almost. Archer gets close. That is Stephen Archer. Munster just about over the line. That almost wasn't even a breakdown. That was just a guy falling over. That is very close again for Munster. Trying to use up those numbers early. Got to be careful not to accidentally knock the ball on. It's a try between the sticks. And Munster, now that may be just what they needed. Give credit to the Northern Hemisphere teams. They know how to recover from a slump quickly, says Bupar. This should be game over. This is not the Munster that played last week. Bupar there as well. Massive points for Munster there. Like they're saying, the points. They needed the 7 rather than the 3. They took the risk and they now reap the rewards. It should be a simple kick to go over. I believe it was Gavin Coombs got himself over the line. He's had a fantastic performance, almost a man of the match, perhaps. Oh, I thought they were going to check for a knock on there, but it seems like it is going to be all right. Just having a bit of a chat there, Healy. Try is good. Yes, it is. Okay, Mike Keeley was just asking about the time. He was like, can you please tell me when there's 10 seconds left or so? And he is going to wait here. This is strategic from Munster. This will not impress the home crowd at all. But Ben Healy will be using up as much time as he can. Here we go. Kicks it over with 10 seconds remaining. Used up an extra maybe 30 seconds more than he would have otherwise. Game management from the Munstermen. Now 5 minutes remaining. Munster have got themselves the lead, 26 points to 17, unless there is a try very soon in favour of, Jack O'Donoghue's ankle could have got him twisted there. Yeah, unless the Stormers can get themselves a 3-pointer here or a try, this game may just about be over. It's going to be knocked back onto the side of Munster, but the penalty goes the way of the Stormers. Now they've got a decision to make, because do you go for the 3 and get with it? No, you can't. Lebok can't kick. He's going for the posts. Oh, no. This is going to be a big moment here, isn't it? Because if Lebok doesn't get this kick over, there is going to be a lot of angry people, more angry people than there already are, for the way that he has been kicking throughout this match. Now, 76 minutes gone on the clock here. Lebok lining up the kick. This will get them within 7. I'm going to quickly check to see what the TAB thinks about this game. I feel like they'll think it's a back and forth seesaw, of course. Both sides would have been favourite at points. But who is the overall favourite now with the way that we sit? We'll put that there because or else it lags. Marnie Lebok to line it up. Why is Lebok going for a shot at goal now? Says Bupa. Yeah, I mean, that's one where you at least take the bonus point by getting within 7. And the Stormers get the kick over, though. 5 seconds remaining. He's missed again, Marnie Lebok. Oh. Now, I feel bad for this man because he's going to, that's the thing. Before this game, people were saying he was probably going to be right up there as one of the options for the Boks. And I feel like after this performance, a lot of people are then now going to say, no, can't do it. Also, Robert is back. Welcome in, Robert. Someone straight in the Boks leg, says Michael. And now, once again, we'll see that game management from Munster. They won't be in any hurry, just like the scoreboard wasn't to give Munster that try. They still haven't given them the try, but luckily it still stands the same of Munster being in the lead. At this point, here comes Evan Ruas. A little bit of a shepherd there accidentally from Clayton Blumekis, but it didn't really cause too much disruption. Now a bit of a step there from Marcel Tennyson, the man who did recently come off the bench as well. Evan Ruas moving up to the halfway line. Do or die now for the Stormers. If they want their second spot back, they're going to have to earn it in these last 2.5 minutes. Run now, dodging through tackles, but driven sideways. Now Herschel Yankees goes up to Marvin Ori. Nicely taken by, I believe it was Mani Lebok now. Damien Willemse finds the offload again. The Van Rennen. Still on halfway, though. Not a lot of meters being gained. Oh, that was high on Damien Willemse. Advantage. Right, this time you surely kick for the corner. Oh, Lebok's gone for the cross kick. And it's nicely taken. They will use up some time. Keith Earls inside ball. Craig Casey, he's going to run away with that ball because that uses up those few extra seconds. Also, we were good to give Lebok a guide dog on his way to Specsavers. Says Michael, he has an improved kicking accuracy similar to last season, says Bupar. See, it's like someone mentioned, Pollard. If Pollard's not available, kicking-wise, who do the Boks go with? I guess they go with the Clerk as the next kicking option, probably even with. I think Lebok is lately not very reliable. Pressure is working on him, says Alfie. Yeah, see, that's the thing. He's probably missed about 10 points worth of points in this contest. And those 10 points would have been all the difference. Only 100 seconds left. Irish is so strong. Finish like gladiators. Thanks, Hamish. You've done great. Checking again soon. Enjoy your weekend. What's left of it, says Ruth. Thank you very much, Ruth. Same to you. Hopefully, you get a few breaks from work in the future. Oh, looks like Gavin Coons is injured. More than likely just cramp, I believe, the way that they were stretching it out. Kits off, maybe. There's the Borgster. You know what? Being honest, I think Kitsoff would have got not that kick, but the kick beforehand, the one from about 25 metres out on the angle. Kitsoff would have been eating that one up. He would have been fine. Oh, they're going for the 3 again, Marnie Lebok. Right. They're pretty much saying, Lebok, if you're going to keep on missing, we're going to keep on making you take kicks until you start getting them. So he's 1 from 5 tonight. 20% accuracy for Marnie Lebok. And now his side have asked him, for probably his hardest kick of the day, get this one over. Now, the thing is, I'm an optimistic man. I think this will be the kick that he does get over. because at the end of the day, you can't miss forever. He's a class player. Marnie Lebok, it's just the kicking boots haven't quite been tied the right way so far throughout this matchup. Marnie Lebok, oh, geez, that's not even close. That's missed by a good that times 50 for the kick there, Lebok. And this is just, yeah, this is such a weird choice from the Stormers. I don't know what's going on. Get Percy Montgomery back. Bram van Straten says Roof there. Nas Bota is the Borgster. Will be a 22 dropout now for Munster from here. The Stormers can now not win this game. Had they gone for the corner off that first one rather than trying to take on the 3 points, they would have still had a very good opportunity. Damien Valimza going to be running the ball back now. Little short pass to Sinutla. I'll be honest, if you're Munster here with only 20 seconds left, are you cynically infringing? If they're worried about that, I don't think there's enough time, never mind. I was going to say, if you're just lying in that breakdown, maybe a second too long. Ivan Ruas, big shot on him, finds the offload. That's the thing. They can actually still get themselves 2 points from. That's another thing. Why aren't they? They have a chance. If they get one more try, they'll be within 7, which will then lead to them getting 2 points on the board, which still keeps that gap with them and Ulster close. Like, that would mean that they are only 1 point behind them, which means they just need a bonus point for their final game. Ulster, no bonus point. Weird scenes for the Stormers. Seems like they don't really know what they want and when they want it. Nice quick pass. Dan du Plessis was claiming the knockback even before it had happened, but I believe it's going to be an advantage for the knock-on rather than the penalty. Now, Johan Nidley-Fouchier going forward. And what is the real score? Real score at the moment is 26 points to 17. The scoreboard doesn't want to admit that there was another one that was scored. Now, after Diamani, and all the outcomes, my notification didn't come on. Roa, all around people, says Nasi Williams. Welcome in now, though, mate. It is good to see you for the final moments. There still might be a little bit of something near the end. Dan du Plessis looking for the try. They now move within the 22. Roa now scores it. This is what the Stormers should have been doing from about 5 minutes ago, because now they get themselves 2 points. It's literally what it just makes sense that they would have done that. So Munster will be a bit disappointed to have allowed the Stormers to run in that last one, but it's at least something. Bad leadership, Hamish, that's why, says David the Mod. Yeah, it just seems like something wasn't happening in the communication department for this one. And also we got Arsenali, Lombard, Dupria, and Jordan Hendrickson, says Bupa. And then the box sucks, says the Roof there. Yeah, I believe he should be able to get this kick, though. Ryan now made sure that he ran it right round. There's going to be a big jeer from the crowd when Lebok gets this one over. And yep, and there wins Munster, says Tini. And there as well. So yeah, after this game, URC standings-wise, Stormers will be sitting on 63 points, just behind Ulster, who are sitting on 64. And then Munster, they will get themselves the full 5 points available. They will move up to 53. They still need another golden point or a 5-point victory in their next game. That is actually up against the Sharks. So that'll be a tough matchup to be able to win, but they've got a better points differential than Glasgow. That kick did go over, so the end score in this contest, it is 26 points to 24. And poor game management by the Stormers, and Lebok ruined his fly-half ambitions, says Bupa. And there as well. Looking good, Hamish. Long time no see. Hope you're keeping well, says Darren. Certainly are, mate. Hope you are also keeping well yourself. Yeah, only a few games this weekend. Feels a bit weird. Like this last weekend, I said that it was a light weekend because we had about 25 hours of commentary. This weekend, it's really light. We've only commentated about 3 rugby games or something like that. We've only done like 7 hours of streaming, which is unheard of for the Kiwi lads. And I think next week we're going to be a little bit more, but still not a huge amount, maybe about 10 to 15 hours. But yeah, it's been a nice weekend. It's been quite busy outside of the YouTube side of things. Should be good fun. And wow, if Lebok just got one kick, Stormers would have won, says Bupa. And there as well. Also, if the Stormers had gone for the corner earlier in that 6th minute, I think it was, wasn't it? They had gone for the corner, then got themselves a try. It would have been a handy one. I can't believe Leinster won, says it Denny. So, yeah, both Munster and Leinster getting themselves a victory over South African sides in this round of the URC. No, says Johannes Payne. No, no. He's not happy at the moment, Johannes, with the performance from the Stormers. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy this stream, if you haven't already, be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new. It's an entertaining game overall. We saw a close one. At the end of the day, it is just the fact that in the end, the Stormers just weren't quite able to get themselves what they needed. And also cracking game, though, says Finton. Yeah, very entertaining game. Glad I got up at 3:30 a.m. to be able to watch it. But now we are going to be heading to bed and actually going to a birthday party in about 5 hours' time. It's my younger cousin's birthday. Didn't want to miss it. So yeah, we'll be going to sleep and then waking up, going to that, doing some 10-pin bowling, which we did actually do yesterday with the lads as well. Latest Hamish, and yeah, Hamish, life outside of Kiwi lads is important, says David the Mod. Yeah, it's been a busy little patch. Started the new job. So at this stage, working afternoon to evening on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Alongside that, we just finished pouring a big concrete slab out the road. That was on Friday. So been doing that as well. And then, yeah, kind of working Monday and mornings during the week with Dad with the building side of things. And then, yeah, working Tuesday evenings, streaming on the weekends. Keep them very busy at this time of the year. But we put that full time down the bottom there. Ladies and gentlemen, Lebok, I must deactivate his social media accounts. He might get trolled. He's definitely going to get trolled, unfortunately, which I don't like when people do it. But, like, yeah, it's a very tough one for him. Thoughts on delaying today's Grand National? I had no idea that had happened. We used to have a kid at school who climbed trees. Fun fact. There was actually one family, they really loved getting up in the bushes. But I don't think they've ever climbed a tree in protest. I think it's normally like it would just be lunchtime at school and they'd get up on top of the bush and everyone would be like, you can't be up there. And then they'd be like, yeah, but look. And then they'd just jump from bush top to bush top. I'm off to bed, duvet, hot chocolate, and a good movie. Cheers. Almost come on, Williams, I must kick. There's the roof there. Well, there goes my winning streak on Super Brew, says it, Denny. I'll also say balls beat zebra. Do you like a bit of bush? Says water sports. I personally cannot climb bushes that well, if I'm being honest, water sports fan. And it's also, it's very spiky, isn't it? You got to be careful. Actually, in the frisbee golf video, I found myself getting poked in the bottom by a bush. So that wasn't too nice. Will you continue the Kiwi lads after your marriage? Do I have a marriage coding? I'm currently single. So I have to find a lady friend first, of course. So that's probably still a wee way away. So you don't have to panic too much yet. I don't have a marriage anytime soon. Yeah, I gotta find a girlfriend first. I don't know. Great result for Munster. Have a go to the box. Kicking saved us, says Seamus. And there, yeah, he had a shocker off the boot. But also, there were just times in that game where the Stormers didn't play like they normally would. And also, they're not sure if that's the type of bush he was referring to. I certainly know it wasn't the one that he was referring to, Finton. And Hamish equals New Zealand's most eligible bachelor, says water sports fan. Yeah. Although, I feel like in the contract, well, not contract, but in the stipulations, you have to put like sometimes streams for like 30 hours a week and doesn't shut up. I feel like that's a good way of describing myself. Still talking, even though the game is over. I feel like it's also because the scoreboard did not like me. It still thinks the game's going on, which it's not quite. A moody man of the match for the Bulls, says a Tinny, and great call. Hamish says David the Mod. Hamish, you're always way ahead of the pack, says Ruth. And there as well. But yeah, 2 Irish games up against South African sides, 2 Irish wins. I'll be very happy with that heading into the final round. And for the final games, ladies and gentlemen, we will just quickly have a look through. Next weekend, it will be Stormers versus Benetton, Ulster versus Edinburgh, Lions versus Zebre, Bulls versus Leinster. That'll be a good one. Dragons versus Scarlets, Sharks versus Munster, Ospreys versus Cardiff, and Glasgow versus Connacht. Hey, you love to talk, one thing for sure. Yeah, I talk quite a bit. But it feels weird to be silent. Like that little patch there just felt weird, not having any words coming out of my gob. So, yeah, talk a lot, but I'm sure I will eventually run out of voice. It's happened a few times over weekends. Job requirement, Hamish, got to talk and keep going, says David the Mod there. Very true. It's like the ones who are like, stop talking on live streams. And it's like, yeah, but if I stop talking, it's completely silent. Because they don't realize that that's the only noise coming through. Like I can put background music and whatnot, just go in here, grab a bit of this, chuck a bit of that on, yeah, we'll go with that one, yeah, something like that. There you go, we've got a bit of funkiness going on in the background now. This is what you do at like 6:20 a.m, isn't it? Okay, Sharks, I need to do a job on Munster, says Ethan. See you later, bye guys, says Etienne. Yeah, we will see you later on. Bit of fun, eh? A bit of a disco going on in the Kiwi Lads environment. We haven't got any disco lights though at the moment. Well, we kind of do. They're over there, but they are not plugged in. They were underneath the couch on that other live stream right down the bottom. I'm kind of curious to know how long Flash Score does end up going. Is that Isaac? It is one of Isaac's songs, yep. He's a very talented bloke, Isaac is. We've got quite a few. Is it copyright free? Yeah, unless Isaac charges me, which he won't, I don't think. Or if he does, I'll just pay him money. Yeah, one of Isaac's songs. We've got about 4 of Isaac's songs in the playlist. There we go, here's another one. Bit funky, bit of elevator music, that one. You got a bit of that, and then you got Heavy Hitter. There's a banger. I feel like I should stop talking so you guys can hear it. The board is finished. Yes. Only took 91 minutes for it to realize that the game was over. Yeah. I guess with the game being over, that would also mean that this stream will be coming to an end, ladies and gentlemen. It has been a fun one. Close game. Always a lot of fun. I do thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you all probably next week. We've got a few videos possibly coming out throughout the week as well, so keep an eye out for that. Whether that is going to be a gaming one that George is editing, I believe, going to be coming out, and also a GoPro cricket video we're hoping to have out on the channel as well. But thank you all very much for tuning in. We'll see you all for the next one.